she would wear undergarments belonging to another woman who already had been pregnant in order to increase her own likelihood of childbearing. Ew, what the heck? Hi loves, it's Emmeline. I was scrolling through the internet the other day and I was like, I wonder if there's any cool wedding traditions that I don't know about from the 1950s or 1900s, whatever, that I could do at my wedding. So I started to research it and I came across so many really cool and like random wedding traditions that I've never even heard of. So I thought it'd be really fun to share these with you guys. I will link the articles down below where I found all of the information. There's like a couple different ones, so I'll link those down below for you guys. But if you guys want to hear all of these awesome wedding traditions that they did in the 1900s, then just keep watching. So the first wedding tradition that I found is that weddings were always to be held on a weekday, and they actually said that holding a wedding on a Saturday was bad luck. And it's kind of crazy because now today I feel like nobody wants their wedding on a weekday, like everybody wants it on the weekend. It's just so crazy because I feel like we went through a period where like weddings had to be on the weekend. I've actually been hearing now, like more so over the past year, of more people can't talk, having their weddings during the week. Like I've heard a lot of people having like Thursday weddings, so maybe that tradition's kind of coming back. I don't know, what do you guys think? So this one thing I did know about, I don't know if you guys knew it, but that receptions were kind of an optional thing and most people didn't even have wedding receptions. So on this one website it says that as late as the early 1960s, many people were still not even having wedding receptions. And I think it's kind of a good idea because it does save a lot of money, but also I feel like the wedding reception is where you actually get to have like so much fun and you get to enjoy your guests, and then it's not like over super quick. So I definitely don't think that that is something I would ever want to try. I don't even think you could try it today. I feel like unless you're doing like a courthouse wedding or like something untraditional, I feel like it's not really something that like people would want to do nowadays. So this one is crazy. Number 3 is that the point of a bridal bouquet was not to just have pretty flowers in your hand. It was actually for deodorant. So this website says, yes, once upon a time, the bridal bouquet was not an aesthetic accent, but a necessary accessory. In the Middle Ages, brides would carry herbs with pungent scents like dill and garlic to ward off evil spirits. Also, they didn't bathe very often back then, and apparently it would help with their smell. Like, what the heck? That is so weird. Like, who would have thought that like these pretty flowers that we hold now walking down the aisle were really just like deodorant? This next thing I think is so weird. I mean, it's not like super weird, but I just think it's very odd, is that men were the only ones that were allowed to give toast. So women were not allowed to give toast. I mean, I guess like thinking back, like women really didn't have like a very significant role in things, so I guess it does make sense. But I feel like now like the women's speeches are always the ones I look forward to the most because they're usually the ones that have like the most emotion to it. And I don't know, I just really enjoy listening to like the girls give like speeches about like the bride and stuff like that. So for me, I definitely don't like that one. So the next one is that rings could only have one diamond, which is crazy. I think that's actually very interesting that they could only have one diamond. I don't know if it says the year. It does say 1939, so maybe it was like really far back that they were only allowed to do this, but I think that's also really interesting that it was so specific even to like the jewelry. So this one website has so many good ones, and the next one that they said is that only some brides were able to wear veils, and it was only the brides that weren't too old had the privilege of wearing a wedding veil. I feel like that is so mean, and like that makes me like sad that like older brides weren't able to wear wedding veils. And like speaking of wedding veils, most of the time the reason why they would have like the veils over their head, at least from what I've heard, is that when you have the veil over your head, it was from like the really far back tradition of when they would do arranged marriages. And I know that is still a thing, but it just comes from like back then when they would do that, because you don't know who you're marrying. So they would like have the veil over you, and then like after you say I do and you actually commit to the marriage, then you can like reveal your bride. And I personally I'm not a fan of keeping the veil over your face because I feel like it would be hard to see your groom, and I want to just be like staring at him the whole time and like have a clear vision of him. But if you guys have worn your veil over your face, let me know. So this next one, I told Connor that I wanted to do, but it's kind of impossible because our wedding venue is way too nice to do this. But basically what they would do is exactly 1 month before the wedding, they would go to their wedding venue and they would dig a hole and bury a bottle of bourbon. And this was supposed to ensure that your big day would not have any, I'm not going to say the word because it's like a curse word in wedding planning. You're not supposed to say it, but it has to do with the weather, if you guys catch my drift. But basically it would ensure that your day was going to be super sunny and super just amazing weather. And then what you would do is once like you do the ceremony, you're supposed to unbury the bourbon and then you're supposed to drink it. The next one is that the bride was supposed to put a silver sixpence in her shoe, and somebody actually told me this. I feel like it was someone from Connor's family told me that I should put one in my shoe, and it's supposed to be like good luck. I personally don't believe in that kind of stuff. I think that like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, but that was a tradition back then. This one is so weird. I didn't even see this one when I was reading through them, but this one says something borrowed meant another woman's undergarments. Ooh, oh my gosh. So it says, according to an English folklore, the something borrowed part was meant to enhance the bride's fertility, meaning she would wear undergarments belonging to another woman who already had been pregnant in order to increase her own likelihood of childbearing. Ew, what the heck? Definitely not doing that. This one's actually very interesting, and this is something that I'm doing at my wedding, so I feel like here's one. So it said the brides had to wear non-white dresses. It said up until 1840, as far as weddings are concerned, it was considered commonplace for a bride to wear any colored dress for her wedding. That all changed when Queen Victoria arrived for her wedding in a white dress. My dress is not white. I'm pretty sure you guys know that. Maybe you don't, but yeah, it's not white. Okay, we have two more. So the next one is that weddings had to happen in June. And I have heard so much about this. Like I think there's even like a song about it. That like a June bride is supposed to be like the best bride, and it like listening back to like my mom when she was younger, like it was very like enforced that like a June bride is like the perfect bride and that's what you have to do. And I honestly would have loved a June wedding, but they are so expensive. That's why we're doing my wedding off season, because if we were to do it on season, it would have been $10,000 more, like easily, probably even more honestly, because we got so many good deals just for being off season. So if you are a June bride, I guess you are very lucky. Last but not least is that when you are walking down the aisle, the only song that could be playing was the traditional Here Comes the Bride song. I actually was like very traditional and always told myself I wanted to walk down the aisle to that because I just liked the idea, and it felt very like cutesy vintage to me to be like, oh, I'm gonna walk down to this. I just think it's very traditional and I don't know, I enjoy it. But I actually probably like a couple years ago found a song that I just thought was so beautiful, and I was like, this is a song I'm walking down the aisle to, because every time I listen to the song it makes me cry, it makes me so emotional, and I want people to like feel emotion when I walk down the aisle. Like I don't want it to just be like, oh, here comes the bride. I want it to be like very emotional. Hopefully people cry. Watch like nobody cry and everyone's just like, that would be so sad. I know I'm gonna be crying for a fact, so that's fine. My friends are really gonna be crying. If we're the only ones crying, then I guess it's okay. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was actually really fun for me to do. I haven't done a vintage type of video in a while, and I was starting to miss them. And like I said, this channel is gonna very slowly but surely get changed over to like just vintage and girly, so I kind of wanted to kick it off with this video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys have heard of any other weird 1950s or 1900s bridal traditions, then let me know. Or if you guys have any traditions that I should try at my wedding, then definitely tell me, because I am so open and really wanting to put in like a cool vintage tradition for my wedding. But that is it for today. I hope you guys are all having a lovely day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!